We will always be battling Satan until Jesus comes again, won't we? He is the prince of the earth. We live in the earth, so that battle is constant. And it was no different for the disciples. Let's talk about it in your morning cup of inspiration. We all know the famous story of how Judas fell and allowed Satan to influence him so much. I was reading in Luke, the 22nd chapter. Focus on the 3rd through the 6th verse. And in the 3rd verse, it says that Satan entered Judas. Judas allowed Satan to come in and take over his motive, his actions, his mind. And that doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen like that, does it? It's usually a process when we fail and give in to Satan. No different for Judas. As I was reading through those verses, the 4th through the 6th, it says that Judas went, Judas discussed, and Judas consented. So there was a process there. He took those first steps. He went and talked to the priests and to the leaders. So he made that first step. And then he discussed. He allowed his mind to go there. He allowed his reasoning to go there. And finally, he gave in. He consented. So there's a warning for us today. And it is not to do what Judas did, not to get cold, disillusioned with Christ. Because there were two things that he did. Our priorities can get all mixed up, and that's what Judas did because he began to be greedy. He began to be selfish. We know the Bible says that he was stealing from the purse, so he was looking for money, and that became a priority to him, material things. And the second thing was Jesus didn't meet his expectations. He thought he was getting into this for an earthly kingdom. He thought Jesus was going to be the king and he was going to have some great role. Well, he is the king, but it was a spiritual kingdom. And that disillusioned Judas. It didn't meet his expectations. So he allowed the world to come into play with the material possessions. And then Jesus didn't meet his expectations. And because of that, Judas fell. Satan took advantage of that. So let that be a warning this morning to all of us. Keep our priorities straight and keep our expectations in check and allow Jesus to fulfill his calling in you today. Pray that ministered to you. Let's stay strong. Thanks for joining me for that morning cup of inspiration, and we'll see you next time.